Right, so today what we're going to look at is the future tense in Spanish. We're going to look at its main usages and we're going to look at how it's formed or conjugated in Spanish. So usually in both English and Spanish, the future tense is used to describe events which have not yet happened and will happen at a later date. So as we can see, we have, let me just grab a pen. We have a few examples of the future tense here in English. And to express this future tense in English, we usually use this magic little word, will, followed by a verb. And in this case, we have eat. I will eat. So for example, you could say, I will eat a croissant for breakfast tomorrow. The act of eating has not yet happened yet, but it will happen at a later date, tomorrow. So therefore, an example of the future tense. We also have I will speak. So you could say, I will speak to my cousin next week. The act of speaking has not yet happened, but it will happen at a later date, next week. We also have I will live. So you could say, I will live in Germany next year. I will live in Spain next year. So the act of living in a different country has not yet happened, but it will happen at a later date. And this later date being next year. We also have I'll eat, I'll speak, and I'll live, but these mean the exact same thing as the sentence that they have above them. It is simply just a shorter way to express the exact same thing. So in Spanish, there isn't really a word for will, a direct translation for will. So what Spanish people tend to do is they take the verb or the infinitive, so that's the full verb form, and all they do is they simply add the correct ending, depending on who they are talking about or who is talking. So this is where like first person singular, second person singular, third person singular come into play, as we have at the top here. So just a slight little recap, just in case you're wondering. These are the pronouns that we have in Spanish, and these determine the endings which we should use when talking in the future tense. So we have first person singular, which in English is I, in Spanish yo. We have a second person singular, in English you, in Spanish tú, when you're referring to one person and one person only. We have the third person singular, which is he or she in English, and in Spanish, él or ella. And we also have this strange type of you in Spanish, which is a formal you. So you would usually use this when you are speaking to, say, someone higher up than you. So maybe a teacher, an employer, your boss, something along those lines. And the equivalent for that would be usted in Spanish. We then have first person plural, which in English is we, and in Spanish nosotros, for a group solely consisting of boys or of mixed genders. And then we have nosotras when you are referring to a group that consists of solely girls. We then have our second person plural, vosotros or vosotras. But in this sense, when you use this pronoun in Spanish, you are saying you lot. So it's a collective, it's a group of you, if you get what I mean. So what you would say for a group consisting of solely boys or a mixed gender group, you would use vosotros. And for a group consisting of solely girls, vosotras. Finally, we have third person plural, which in English is they, and that would be ellos for when referring to a mixed gender group or a group of solely boys, and ellas for when you're referring to a group of solely girls. And then again, we have this funny formal you, but this time it's in his plural version. So that would be ustedes. So what we're going to do now is we're going to look at how we actually form the future tense in Spanish. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this example, I'm going to use comer, I'm going to type it into the box, and then I'm going to add the ending, the appropriate ending for the appropriate pronoun. So, for yo, first person singular, meaning I, we have comer. So, the ending here is e, and this means I will eat. Next, we have comerás. Here the ending is as, and this is the second person singular form, you will eat. We then have he, she, or this formal you will eat. So that is comerá. So the ending here is a. Next we have we will eat, which would be comeremos. Here the ending is hemos. Next we have vosotros or vosotras, and the ending here would be comeréis. Here the ending is is. Finally, we have ellos or ellas or ustedes, meaning they, male, they, feminine, ustedes, this formal you again, which would be comerán. Here we have comerán, A-N. And the good thing about the future tense in Spanish is that the endings don't change. It's the same for ER verbs, it's the same for AR verbs, and it's the same for IR verbs. So I will speak would be hablaré. You will speak for the second person singular would be hablarás. Here you can see the endings being added on. So we have the E here and the AS there. And then we have he, she, or this formal you will speak is hablará. And then for we will speak, we have hablaremos. And then for vosotros, again, we have the same ending. So it would be hablaréis. Here we have the ending, as you can see. And then we have, finally, for ellos, ellas, they, we have hablarán. Hablarán. See? So here you can see the endings are exactly the same for ER, AR verbs. And it's the same again for IR verbs. So we'll fill it out again. Viviré, I will live. Vivirás. So we have vivirás. We have, why has it done that? So we have vivirás. We have he, she, or this formal you, which will be vivirá, same ending again. We have we will live, we have viviremos, see the ending is the same. And then we have vosotros, meaning you lot, which is viviréis, meaning you lot will live. And then finally, we have they live, or this formal plural you again, which is they live. So in Spanish, that would be vivir. Sorry, bear with me 2 seconds. would be beberán. Beberán. And there we go. That's the future tense. If you do have any questions or you would like me to explain anything else, feel free to ask. Thank you.